FIFA to speak the day before the game.
Okay.
So Gerrard
so they have to, do they?
They have to, yeah. So Gerrard could have done that press conference as well, but it was a case of trying to share around this responsibility. Of course, John Terry has been England captain in the past, he's Chelsea captain, he's more than experienced in dealing with these sort of situations, so it was decided that it would be he who came out. Now, at the time, it seemed like it was a refreshing stance. It was an honest stance from John Terry. It did split a lot of people. Some people thought that that wasn't the case, and they thought he'd perhaps gone a bit too far.
Yeah.
And perhaps in hindsight, perhaps he did. He did question sort of Capello's tactics a little bit. He questioned why Joe Cole hadn't been selected, and there was also, he sort of built up this idea that the talks that they were having sort of after the game, that was. They were going to be some sort of like crisis talks. They were going to be a time for everyone to say exactly what they thought, when in the past that's obviously not what happens.
Yeah.
Now Frank Lampard came out the day after to do his press conference, and he said that that wasn't the case really, and that he said that the journalists perhaps taken it a little bit too literally.
Do you think us as the fans though, watching from the outside, do you think we needed a bit of that actually? Because whenever you hear Capello being interviewed, you know, because of the broken English and because of what's lost in translation, we don't really get a sense for a real kind of one way or the other. We're not quite sure whether he's very, very passionate, whether he has very strong views. It all just comes out as a bit of a baseline. You know, you see most of the interviews and you think, one, you have to struggle to keep up with what he's saying, and two, you think, what were you saying?
Yeah, if you're looking at his passion, and you don't have to look at the way he was jumping up and down and running out of his box and all over the place at the game the other day, which was absolutely fantastic to see. And anyone who thinks that he's not passionate about his football, then you can see right there that he definitely is.
There was a lot riding on it though, wasn't there, this week?
Well, exactly, on his reputation as well. I mean, you're talking about a manager who has managed some of the best teams in Europe, AC Milan, Real Madrid, and won things. And then it comes to England, and you don't want to get knocked out in the group stage. You know, it would have been the first time for absolutely years, half a century, that England would have gone out at such an early stage. And the disappointing thing in a way is that it was only 1-0. You've seen Wayne Rooney's miss there.
We should have been 3-0 up, really, shouldn't we? Because, I mean, Rooney had a good couple of chances, which were real nail-biters, weren't they? That one, I think, where he was offside, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, Defoe got the early goal, didn't he? There was a few chances after that we could have made it 2, even 3.
But it was a game in all the true senses, wasn't it? You actually felt like England were actually playing a game that there was fire in their belly. Yeah, exactly. And the other thing with it is, until the last minute, when USA scored in the other game, Slovenia were going through as well. So, you know, there was a lot riding on that. And Slovenia are no mugs, not at all. Obviously, we've beat them 1-0. I think I said before the game I thought it was going to be 2-0 and that England had finished top of the group. Now, if they had won 2-0, they would have finished top of the group. They'd be looking at a lot easier route through the rest of the tournament. You'd be, you know, now that it's Germany, it would have been a completely different case. You're not playing sides anywhere near as good. You're playing Ghana, and then you're going to go through to the next round and play the winner of Uruguay and South Korea. Now, you take that to get to the semi-finals of the World Cup. Now it's looking more like Germany, Argentina, Brazil, Spain, who knows, you know. So the route through to the final now is definitely more difficult. But who wants to do it the easy way? Let's be the best teams in the world. we don't like having, you know, just a small challenge. We seem to kind of set ourselves up one way or the other for something enormous. Now there's been some big surprises this week as well, hasn't there?
Well, obviously the France one was massive. And another surprise, them getting beat by South Africa in their last group game. But last night was really the one. So obviously there's Portugal 7-0 is one that sticks out. Spain got back to winning ways on Monday as well. There's a France result. Argentina cruise through their group. They'll be a danger in the knockout stages. But the biggest shock of all undoubtedly came last night with a defeat for the Italians against Slovakia. It's unbelievable.
It is just amazing.
New Zealand finished above Italy in the group.
It just doesn't.
They're the world champions. This isn't normal.
And there's the confirmation of the results there from
England's
last
result.
night.
Germany's win as well at the top there. Obviously that confirms that they play us. They win their group, but they're
again,
that
was a close match though. I mean, it was only 1-0. That should have been. I mean, against Ghana, should have been a few more goals in that game.
Yeah, possibly. Well, Ghana will go through second as well. So obviously they're no mugs. They're the only African team that will probably go through it, unless the Ivory Coast can do something fantastic against North Korea. But it's that result there. Look at that: Slovakia 3, Italy 2. Italy finished bottom of their group, and that's a massive result. New Zealand finished above them. Another draw for them. That's 3 draws out of 3. They were expected to be the absolute whipping boys, and they've performed fantastically well. Japan beating Denmark as well. They go through with the Netherlands.
That was a bit of a surprise as well.
In a way,
It wasn't necessarily expected, was it?
No,
they haven't done fantastically throughout.
No, I think it was about a week before the tournament. The Japanese manager said, if you want, I'll hand him a resignation, because I know the preparation's not gone too well. I don't think they'd accept that now, not at all, because they've got through that group. It's a tricky group. Denmark, perhaps not the team that they were a few years ago, but Japan blew them away last night. 2 fantastic free kicks early on in the game. We've not seen any free kicks go in the back of the net. People have found it really difficult to control the controversial Jabulani ball, of course, but 2 free kicks last night. Great start for Japan, and let's see how they can do in the knockout stages.
Do you think we're going to remain pretty much the same? We're going to keep our faith in David James, Yeah,
I'd say so. I think David James definitely now. Centre-half's going to be a bit of an issue, because Matthew Upson played well, but Jamie Carragher's coming back from suspension, so whether he puts him back in or not, he'll probably have a look at the German front line. They're not the most mobile of front lines. It's more sort of people breaking from midfield, so that's going to be a danger for us. Mesut Ozil's played fantastically well just in the hole behind the striker so far. He's been one of the stars of the tournament. He's been man of the match twice when Germany have won their games against Australia and Ghana. So we'll have to see.
This is just the highlights from the Germany game. Just in terms of our substitution, when we substituted Rooney on Wednesday, did we make the right substitution there? I mean, obviously we needed to get Wayne out if he was hobbling away, because we
everyone was worried, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Every time when you see anyone like Wayne Rooney hobbling, everyone's panicking. He's going to be okay for the game at the weekend.
Could we have done with someone a little bit taller? We could have done with Mr. Crouch for that substitution. Because actually finding the space was the difficulty in that game, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the problem is with Peter Crouch and Heskey, whenever they seem to play for England, then straight away we go to this long ball side, which is not our strength at all. However, Peter Crouch has got fantastic strike rate at international football, and it's a surprise in a way that he's not been used more in this World Cup so far, but perhaps he's been saved for an impact substitution just when it really matters, and he'll be hungry to come on because he's not really played much football. Joe Cole came on. It was a player that everyone wanted to play. You listen to absolutely anyone on the television or in newspapers talking about England, Joe Cole's got to play. Capello ignored them, played James Milner instead. James Milner had a great game, and John Terry were probably our best players. But when Joe Cole came on, he didn't really play particularly well, so it was a bit like, oh, what was all that fuss about? But you never know. Knowing Capello, we might sort of try and shuffle his pack a little bit for the Germany game, perhaps have a look at their team and see if there's areas he can exploit and things like that. And we'll see what happens.
Any other highlights from the week? This week, as it has? I mean, it's again, it's so difficult, isn't it? Because some of the things you just couldn't expect to happen.
I think one of my highlights was Portugal's result against North Korea. Now, 7-0 in any game at that sort of level is a fantastic result. Now, obviously North Korea only lost 2-1 against Brazil in the game before, and a lot of people have sort of questioned Portugal. They are third in the FIFA World Rankings, but they didn't really qualify particularly well. They had to go through the playoffs. Cristiano Ronaldo, arguably one of the best players in the world, or undoubtedly one of the best players in the world, arguably the best, hadn't scored an international goal in competitive football for 2 years. And he scored in that game, and 7-0 is a fantastic result, and really that ensured their qualification. I think Ivory Coast, who play North Korea this week, will need a 9-goal swing for them to be able to get through on goal difference. So Portugal have put themselves in a great position. They'll of course have to get beat by Brazil. Ivory Coast beat North Korea, and 9 goals go either way, which looks unlikely really. Let's
have a look at the fixtures for this weekend. Of course, we're looking forward to our game on Sunday, another nail biter. At least it's a Sunday, and we've got plenty of time to recover after it. So, as you say, North Korea and Ivory Coast.
Yeah, we've got the last round of group matches today. Those two there, I'd expect Brazil and Portugal to go through. Brazil as group winners, and then it's Spain's group. It's incredibly interesting. All the teams can still go through. Chile have had a great World Cup so far, so that's going to be a tough game for Spain. And then it'll be the chess match between Switzerland and Honduras. Switzerland don't really play exactly flowing football, so that'll be an interesting one to see if they can get a result against Honduras and perhaps force their way through. And then The knockout phases start on Saturday, the last 16, and that's when it all gets interesting for me. That's when people are going for the jugular. That's when people need to win. They need goals, and the mistakes are made because the pressure's on, and that's when it gets exciting.
That's where you see the really angry, passionate playing, isn't it? Listen, Ian, we're nearly out of time. Quick score prediction for Sunday, please.
Oh, I think we might just go through to penalties. I've got an awful feeling, but I don't quite know where the Sun's got the facts from, but perhaps we can lay the goals to rest of 1990, 1996. Stuart Pearce, of course, the assistant manager. Gareth Southgate was on the telly last night. He missed in 96, and they both said they were confident, and they said that England have got the ability to go through. So fingers
we can
crossed.
Do it?
I think so, yeah.
But it's going to be on penalties, you think?
Yeah, I think we're going to have to raise our game again as well from that Slovenia game.
Okay, I'm going to come off the fence for this one. I'm going to give us 3-2.
3-2?
Yeah, I can see a lot of goals in that game.
Yeah?
Because it'll be one of those that really takes us to the wire, I think.
If that's the case, let's enjoy it, and let's hope it's 3-2.
Absolutely. Get in. Let's hope we can. Ian, we'll see you on Monday.